I'm a kid, early life. Jordan Terrell Carter, better known as Playboi Carti, had his story start on September 13th, 1996, the same day that Tupac passed away. He was born in Riverdale, Georgia, just 20 minutes south of Atlanta, and it wasn't the safest place to grow up. Despite being a suburb, it actually was a really high crime area. Carti has always wanted to make a name for himself.
It's like, I just want my name to hold weight, you know? Like, I just want to be respected. I just need that respect, you know?
And before he ever considered pursuing any musical career, basketball was his true passion. He was actually a point guard for North Springs Charter High School in Sandy Springs, Georgia. Initially, he credited basketball for keeping him out of trouble. It made him attend practices and travel for games year-round. However, that changed for him down the line.
I was young AI and didn't go to practice. That was the time when I was like really like ducking, like scoring. Like it was really hoop life with no rap. I should smoke before I go to practice, get on the court. Drop like 30 on like crazy, like had the city going wild.
While he looked up to a ton of famous NBA stars like
AI was my favorite player, Michael Jordan, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, the hood classics, man. Like,
his basketball dreams came to a quick halt after he got into a big disagreement with his coach. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any of his high school tapes of him actually playing basketball or what the disagreement with his coach was over, but I did find this clip of him sinking this three, so I'll let that speak for itself. However, his journey into music didn't start the way you might think it did. It actually began when he joined a church choir as a kid. He basically did it just to get brownie points with the girls, but at the end, he actually enjoyed it for kind of what it was. Also, there's no other place where I could put this in the video, so I'm putting it here. Carti has asthma. I didn't know where to put it in the script, so I put it here. It's funny, and I needed to share it with you guys. And during this time, his family actually got a glimpse into his talent. They watched him freestyle and even went as far to throw dollar bills at him to show how good he was.
You freestyle?
Who, me? Of course. Right now. The chain got coffin in his dress.
The first ever album he bought was actually in first grade by Lil Romeo, and as he grew, he kind of grew a better appreciation for music and artists like Prince, Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, Lil Jon, and just, you can see those influences on his current music style. And after the whole basketball fiasco, he started skipping classes pretty regularly to work at his job at H&M and to spend more time in the studio. He had 2 jobs growing up, and one was working at some random grocery store and the other one was obviously working at H&M. Carti worked at H&M because he takes fashion pretty seriously, which I mean is pretty evident with his unique style. He's a self-titled thrift store kid who prefers to look at vintage garments, and he eventually quit H&M because someone recognized him and asked if he was Carti.
I'm like, what the f***? Like, I don't want to work here no more. Niggas coming to the job, princess, look, like this. Like, yo, you Carti? Yeah, bro, that song you got fire. How long you been working here? That shit don't sound right, bro. I'm like, man.
His senior year of high school, he had to do a ton of makeup work in all of his courses, especially his freshman ones. Throughout the year, he developed a serious love for making music, so much that he skipped classes even more and almost failed to graduate. It was so close that not even a single family member showed up to watch him walk the stage. The beginning. His career debuted under a different name at first. He was actually known as Sir Cartier, with a money sign of course, and he started making music in 2011 at the age of 15, and his first song, Cry, was made on GarageBand and even had a music video. It honestly was not that bad for a first song. It even had me bobbing my head a little bit. By the way, if you are curious and want to check out some of this stuff on your own, I have every single source in the description below of every article, clip, and video I used of him, and I even have a playlist with every single one of his songs that he's dropped, so go check that out. I actually listened to most of the playlist while researching this video. I had to really immerse myself in Carti's world, to think like Carti, to become Carti. The following year, Carti released a full mixtape named Young Misfits on November 12, 2012, which kind of did decent in the underground Atlanta scene. But it wouldn't be until 2013 when things really took off for him. During this year, he officially adopted the name he has now, Playboi Carti. On top of that, one of his homies actually connected him with a rapper and producer named Ethereal, who was a member of Awful Records at the time. Ethereal is known to be extremely exclusive about who he works with, but Carti was given a chance because his friends had such a high regard for him. Actually, if you take a look at Carti's SoundCloud, you'll see the first song he ever dropped was with Ethereal under his new name, Playboi Carti. The track was called Young Zanho and was released over 9 years ago and sampled the PlayStation 2 startup noise. And also, this was the year that he became a part of Awful Records.
It's father of Awful Records, Archer Ball Slim, Awful Records.
It's your boy Cash Carti of Awful Records.
Linking with Awful, man, has been a big part of my life also, man. I love all those folks.
He ended up having some amazing mentors his senior year of high school, such as Father, Ethereal, and Key. And while we're on the topic of influences on his musical style, I feel like this is a great place to tell you where it kind of came from. A lot of people call Carti a mumble rapper, but his music is extremely hard-hitting and melodic. He really likes to focus on catchy and flowy phrases and just wants to create a solid atmosphere for the music you're listening to. The best way I've seen it described is actually minimal chaos. And of course, he's known for his baby voice in a lot of his popular songs. But the biggest influence on his style actually stems from his like in satanic imagery and his obsession with vampires and vampire movies. By the way, Carti wants you to think he's a vampire. Those vampire emojis aren't posted randomly. This stems from the 1987 cult classic The Lost Boys, which is about two brothers who relocate to California and had to fight off a gang of vampires. Carti says this about it, okay? I thought, damn, I want to look like this. That's me. Playboi Carti, a vampire on a dirt bike, flying, laughing, and the fangs, my grills, long hair, dreads, rock star. You know what I'm saying? It's fire. He even uses other movies for inspiration, like the Sigma classic Donnie Darko and also the movie Gummo. And just to throw this in there, he loves Mickey Mouse, going as far to call him timeless and his idol. But the biggest inspiration of his music is listening to other artists like Lil Wayne. Wayne actually influenced him to freestyle all of his raps. And some of the other biggest artists that inspire him are A$AP Rocky, Kanye West, Jay-Z, MF Doom, Slayer, Sex Pistols, and Kiss. One of the biggest though was Currency.
Currency, all of them. You know what I'm saying? Currency used to be my favorite rapper.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Facts. When everybody was listening to Wiz, I switched over to Currency, you know what I'm saying? And I just had a more like, you know what I'm saying? I related to him so crazy, you know what I'm saying? Currency is a big influence on like my homeboys who tell you, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not nothing a lot of people know.
During this time, Carti actually had a romantic relationship with Ruby Rose, which was really interesting. They were friends at first, but it was pretty obvious that Ruby didn't want to date him until he kind of blew up.
So how'd you start dating Carti? What happened with that?
So just like mutual friends really, but like we were friends first.
Okay.
And like while I was in high school, and like I remember the first time we met, because we would talk through Twitter and like text and shit. But the first time we met, he came and picked me up from my mom's house and took me to like one of his shows.
And this is when he was still pretty underground?
Yeah, like when he was with Awful Records.
Right.
Like,
this is old school Carti.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't remember that. So you guys went to a show together? What was that like? It was a really romantic first date?
no, it was cool. Like we were still friends then. Like he would always try and flirt with me, but I wasn't feeling him then yet. Like it wasn't until like a year into our friendship when we started getting freaky.
When he was like way more famous and way richer?
He's still like, no, no.
No,
honestly, no. He used to live with me, okay?
Really?
Yes.
They dated for almost 3 years, from December 2014 all the way to October 2017. The blow up. His biggest breakthrough yet would happen April 2nd, 2015. Carti had just released his breakout single, Broke Boy, and a few weeks later, on April 26th, he would release a song called Fetty that featured both Maxo Cream and Dash.
Broke Boy, man, that's just some shit. I just felt that at that time, like, I don't know, it was a day I was just like, yo, man, I'm just tired of fucking with that ain't got money, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like,
these two songs would push him past the Atlanta underground scene, where he had been collaborating with other artists like Uno the Activist, Young Bands, Lil Yachty, Ethereal, and 1000 Band Fani. Carti had strong relationships with several producers in the underground Atlanta scene too. That included Ethereal, Mexico Dro, and Icy Twat. In particular, working with Mexico brought out some of Carti's best music and became a main producer of Carti's for a long time. Together, they produced bangers like Money Counter, Plug, and By Myself No Help. With the success of his latest two songs, Carti decides to pursue music full-time and moves to New York the second he turns 18. He stays with family for a little bit, but eventually ends up sleeping on the floor of his drug dealer's house. Surprisingly, this leads to him meeting a member of the ASAP group, which stands for Always Strive and Prosper. The guy he met was ASAP Bari, who recognized him from his music. Bari ends up introducing him to other ASAP members and influential people in the industry. Soon they all bond over their love for music and fashion, especially Soho fashion, which combines high-end designer pieces with thrifty vintage to create both a comfortable and mod outfit. Through his involvement with this group, Carti actually gets invited to join Vlone, a street fashion brand started by the ASAP members. This is actually where he's going to meet his two biggest influential people, A$AP Rocky and Ian Connor. Ian becomes more than just a friend to Carti. He even offers to manage him, and throughout their whole relationship, Ian is always supporting Carti and putting him on his story to his thousands of followers, and honestly is just a really good friend to him.
Get off me, bro. I don't want to play with you. That's great footage stuff.
Meanwhile, Rocky actually invites Carti to join his record label AWGE, which was an imprint label of Interscope Records. He also convinces Carti to stay in Texas with him and not go back to New York. 2016 rolls around. Carti doesn't really release much music, but he is featured on ASAP Mob's single Telephone Calls from their Cozy Tapes Volume 1. The next year, on April 14th, 2017, Carti drops his defining debut mixtape named Playboi Carti, and God, it was a hit. It gained attention from publications like XXL, Pitchfork, Spin, and Hot New Hip Hop. It even reaches fucking number 12 on the Billboard 200 almost immediately. But he had two songs that really stood out in this mixtape. The first one was Magnolia, which reached number 29 on the Billboard Hot 100, and also Woke Up Like This, featuring Lil Uzi Vert and produced by Pierre, which reached number 26 on that same chart. The mixtape's success led Carti to go on tour with both Gucci Mane and Dreezy that summer. While all of that's going on, he briefly dates Black China for 3 months and 2 days. Then June of 2017 rolls around, and he becomes one of the 10 XXL's 2017 freshman class.
Yo, it's Playboi Carti, and I'm here at the 2017 SSL freshman.
With X, Ugly God, and Made in Tokyo. God, can we just take a moment to appreciate that 2016 freshman cypher though? Oh my God, that shit was... What a good era for music, honestly. Carti ends up featuring on another one of ASAP Mob's single, Raph, from Cozy Tapes Volume 2, which actually has a really cool backstory, so hear me out. His favorite designer is actually Raph Simone's, which the song he featured on, Raph, is actually dedicated to. If you watch the music video, Carti, ASAP Rocky, Quavo are all wearing rare Raph Simone's clothing. Throughout his career, Carti has credited both Kanye West and A$AP Rocky for being his biggest fashion inspirations and for helping him develop his unique style. He has even modeled for some fashion brands like Louis Vuitton at Paris Fashion Week, Kanye West Yeezy Season 5, V-Files, and Drake's OVO Lookbook, the current era. The following year started off with a serious hit, literally. On February 25th, 2018, Carti ended up punching his bus driver, Adam Ralph, and also tearing apart his bus in Gretna, Scotland. The reason they got into this fight even in the first place was because Mr. Ralph asked Carti to put out a cigarette 6 times. Ralph ended up putting his hand on Carti's shoulder, and that alarmed Carti so much that he clocked the guy 6 times in self-defense. Apparently, Carti was pretty upset the whole time because the bus's heating system had actually broken down and they were waiting over 8 hours for them to come and fix it. He ended up getting fined over 1,400 pounds by the district, and 100 of those went to Mr. Ralph himself. Then on May 11th, he actually dropped his first album, Die Lit, which immediately hit the Billboard, peaking at number 3 on the US Billboard 200. Literally within the first 2 major releases, this dude was a household name. I even remember it being this way in my own life. He just came up out of nowhere and just took over. In September of 2018, Carti and Iggy Azalea started dating.
You hate on anything that someone gave me that wasn't you. You can buy me some water.
Boss, that's how y'all giving it up.
Yeah.
Sending gifts.
album. And trust me, this is important. I have to put this one in here. And only 3 months later in December, Iggy and Carti actually move in together in Buckhead, Georgia. Work on his second album titled Whole Lotta Red started in 2019, and during this time, the leaks got really bad. People say he's purposely leaked his own music because an artist that's a part of a label actually doesn't make that much money off of their music, and also not to mention that they are controlled on what they can say and release. Carti and many other rappers allegedly sell their unreleased songs anonymously to leakers so that they can get some sort of profit off of the song, and also just to show their fans songs that they wouldn't be able to release under their label's permission. One of the most well-known leaks was on June 27th, 2019. Carti had 5 unreleased songs show up on his official Apple Music page without his authorization. They were titled Butterfly Pill, A&L, Hulk, and Shorty in Love. They were all uploaded by a user named DJ A AP AWGE. Carti ended up posting this photo to his IG. And the craziest part is that a month prior to this whole fiasco, a kid named Young Jin on Spotify leaked Kid Cudi / Pissy Pamper.
That's hard though. What the f is y'all doing?
Which broke the top 5 global viral 50 charts and was on its way to #1 before it got taken down. It really does not get easier for Carti because during this time period, on April 3rd of 2020, the dude was charged with possession of 3 illegal firearms, 12 bags of marijuana, and also codeine, Xanax, and oxycodone. All because he got pulled over in Georgia's Clayton County, which was the county he grew up in. On April 16th of 2020, he released the song A AP AWGE, which peaked at number 35 on the Hot 100. In the meantime, in the past 2 years before the release of A AP AWGE, he didn't really create any original content at all. He primarily worked with a lot of features such as Baguettes in the Face featuring Nav and a Boogie with a Hoodie on DJ Mustard's album, Earthquake by Tyler the Creator, and also a single with Drake labeled Pain 1993, which debuted at number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming Carti's first top 10 on the chart. Okay, for this next part though, please prepare yourself because he really goes through it on June 10th, 2020. Playboi Carti's son Onyx is born and Iggy Azalea is the mother, and he missed the birth. He missed it. He went to Philly instead to go play PlayStation with Lil Uzi Vert, and then Iggy got so mad at him and went on multiple tangents claiming Carti being an absent father, a cheater, and Carti never even signed the birth certificate.
I said to him, you're a fucking deadbeat for this shit, and fuck you, I'm gonna take you to court. Done with this motherfucker. Oh, really? Word? That's crazy. Even though really it's just that I'm trying to go hard for my son, I think that he should have a father that's in his life, especially when you plan to have this baby with me, wasting my goddamn time while you've been secretly fucking a side chick and claiming she isn't shit.
A couple of months later, on December 25th, 2020, Carti dropped one of the most magnificent gifts possible, a 24-track long album called Whole Lotta Red. It was an immediate success and hit #1 on the US Billboard 200, becoming Carti's first chart-topping release ever, and this was humongous for him. Then fast forwarding into August of 2021, Playboi Carti was featured on songs Off the Grid, Junior, and Junior Part 2 on Kanye West's album Donda. Yeah, the one where Kanye went full-blown psychosis in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. From there, he hasn't really created any music, and he went completely radio silent until December 25th of 2022, when Carti came back to Twitter after being gone for over a year. He was making tweets like, "Hello Twitter, love all my supporters, it's time," possibly hinting at another Christmas Day release, completely edging the out of all of his fans. 2023 rolls around, the year we're currently in, and obviously we're only about 3 months into this year, and only 2 big things have happened for Carti so far. On February 14th of this year, Playboi Carti was arrested for a felony of aggravated assault. The dude choked out his girlfriend of 2 years almost to the point of passing out, and she was 14 weeks pregnant at the time. And then 7 days later, Carti says that his album is done and that it's gonna get released this summer. And yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for their entire life story of Carti.
In the mall, start crying a little bit. We in gang PlayStation is pretty lit. I mean, I had a PlayStation since I was like legit like.
I thought they was on the same I was on, but they not. Or they was on some that I wanted to be on, and when I got on that I got on it, then surpassed them, and they was just lost in the sauce. I'm like, damn, you done told me to do this, but now that I fucked you mad at me?